Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Wacky and Weird Wednesday. So we're covering some at least I find and Raj finds wacky and weird news going on out there in the world, like Orcas and Eurovision disqualifications. Anyways, let's go ahead and actually cover our headlines here on Before Coffee. Today on Before Coffee. About 100 Filipino activists and fishermen sail on a wooden boat to dispute shoal guarded by China.
And robot dogs with rifles are undergoing military evaluation.
Teacher accused of sex with student tells trial she ruined dream job with mistakes.
More weird news, killer whales attack and sink a yacht in the Strait of Gibaltor. Again!
And coming out of culture news, the Netherlands' Joost Klein is kicked out of Eurovision, but the Dutch can still vote.
All those weird, wonderful, wacky stories on Wednesday, May 15th, which is Bring Flowers to Someone Day on Before Coffee.
Okay. Can't wait to have some of that later. Some scones. I don't know if I can even find any. Actually, they don't have any here, even though the UK is right across the channel over there. Or the North Sea, I guess. North Sea isn't that big. Actually, recently found out the North Sea is just like a pocket of where water goes into. It doesn't have a current. Just water kind of flows into it and then just stays there. Anyways, Speaking of water, there's a bunch of Filipino activists on their fishermen boats and wooden boats going across to dispute a shoal guarded by China. That's the headline. This is from AP News by Jim Gomez. Coming out of Manila, about 100 Filipino activists and fishermen, along with journalists, sailed today, May 15th, to a disputed shoal in the South China Sea, where Beijing's Coast Guard and suspected militia ships have used powerful water cannons to ward off what they regard as intruders. The Philippines Coast Guard deployed 3 patrol ships and a light plane to keep watch from a distance on the activists and fishermen, who set off from the western Zambales province to assert Manila's sovereignty over the Scarborough Shoal and outlying waters. The Navy dispatched a ship to help keep an eye on the participants. A flotilla of about 100 small wooden fishing boats with bamboo outriggers initially joined the voyage to help distribute food packs and fuel to fishermen and lay a dozen territorial buoys about 220 nautical miles, or 37 kilometers from the coast before returning to Zambales, said Eman Hizon, one of the organizers. 4 larger wooden boats with more than 100 activists, including a Filipino and 2 foreign Roman Catholic priests, fishermen, and journalists, then proceeded to the shoal and were expected to reach its outlying waters early Thursday, so they're expecting to get there tomorrow on May 16th, Hizon said. The activists, who belong to the non-government coalition called Atin Ito, Tagalog for This Is Ours, said they would seek to avoid confrontation but were prepared for any contingency. Our mission is peaceful, based on international law, and aimed at asserting our sovereign rights, said Rafaela David, a lead organizer. We will sail with determination, not provocation, to civilianize the region and safeguard our territorial integrity. In December, David's group, with boatloads of fishermen, also tried to sail to another disputed shoal but cut short the trip after being tailed by a Chinese ship. China effectively seized the Scarborough Shoal, a triangle-shaped atoll with a vast fishing lagoon ringed by mostly submerged coral outcrops, by surrounding it with Coast Guard ships after a tense 2012 standoff with Philippine government ships. Angered by China's action, the Philippine government brought the disputes to the international arbitration in 2013 and largely won, with a tribunal in The Hague ruling 3 years later that China's expansive claims based on historical grounds in the busy seaway were invalid under the 1982 UN Convention of Law of the Sea. The ruling declared that Scarborough Shoal, a traditional fishing area for Chinese, Filipino, and Vietnamese fishermen in the past, fishermen have anchored in the shoal and avoid huge waves in the high seas and stormy weather. I wonder what the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea is. Is that the idea that you can't own the sea? Like certain places in the sea, if they're far enough from land, cannot actually be claimed by any government. The United States Convention Law of Sea was adopted in 1982, no kidding. It lays down a comprehensive regime of law and order in the world's oceans and seas, establishing rules of governing all uses of oceans and their resources. Okay, well I'm not going to read the entire law, but I'm guessing in the law is that part where they say, this isn't close enough to your territory for you to claim it as territorial waters. Also, 3 other countries use it as a fishing ground, so you're just not allowed to use that. Or only you. You're not allowed to claim it as Chinese. China refused to participate in the arbitration, rejected the outcome, and continued to defy it. 2 weeks ago, Chinese Coast Guard and suspected militia ships used water cannons on Philippine Coast Guard and fisheries ships patrolling the Scarborough Shoal, damaging both vessels. The Philippines condemned the Chinese Coast Guard action on the shoal, which lies in the Southeast Asian nation's internationally recognized exclusive economic zone. The Chinese Coast Guard said it took a necessary measure after the Philippine ships violated China's sovereignty. Somebody stepped on my land. You violated my sovereignty. In addition to the Philippines and China, Vietnamese, Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan have also been involved in territorial disputes. Chinese Coast Guard ships had also ventured into waters close to Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia in the past, sparking tensions and protests. But the Southeast Asian nations with considerable economic ties with China have not been as aggressively critical against Beijing's increasingly assertive actions. The Philippines has released a video of its territorial face-offs with China and invited journalists to witness the hostilities in high seas in a strategy to gain international support, sparking a word war. I thought it said world war. I'm like, we're starting a world war over fishing. Sparking a word war with Beijing. Increasing frequency of the skirmishes between the Philippines and China has led to minor collisions, injured Filipino naval personnel, and damaged supply boats in recent months. It has sparked fears that territorial disputes could degenerate into an armed conflict between China and the United States, a longtime treaty ally of the Philippines. Yes, I mean, the thing with Vietnam and Taiwan, for example, is that, and also Thailand and Malaysia, well, maybe not, still Malaysia. I actually don't know where Brunei is. I need to up my Southeast Asian countries.
Brunei.
But the problem with those countries is that they're land connected to China, right? So they have to play nice with China because China can just walk over and attack them. Philippines is luckily in the ocean, so they're a bit easier to defend. Just a little bit easier, you know? Obviously, you still have navies and stuff, but... Oh no, Taiwan's not land connected. They're just off the coast of China.
Taiwan's an island.
Brunei is north of the Indonesia. It's connected to the largest...
Taiwan is an island called Formosa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Vietnam for sure has to pay attention to its own reactions to Chinese aggression, because they could just walk over into Vietnam. At least that's my understanding of the situation. I'm not educated in Southeast Asian politics, but even this much is clear. The Philippines won't be pushed over by China, which has famously been quite aggressive, especially recently. So there's your wacky news about ships and people fighting over fishing grounds instead of just letting people just fish freely. We want all the fish. You're not allowed to have the fish. It's all us. Onto your story about orcas, I'm hoping, because that would be a great segue.
I was going to read one about robot dogs first, but that's the order I read that.
Metal. Yeah.
Huh? Do I have to read the orca one, or could I?
No. I was just saying it's
okay.
More fitting if it was the orca.
Well, we could segue. No problem. We did that one. Well, in other waterbound news, as we're taking our seafaring things farther west, we headed up to the Straits of Gibaltor, which is this is a story from CBS News. Emily May starts with a CZ, so I think it's Zashore. And the title of the Headline reads, killer whales attack and sink sailing yacht in the Straits of Gibraltar again. A sailing yacht sunk in the Strait of Gibraltar on Sunday after unknown number of orcas slammed into the vessel with 2 people on board and caused a water leak, officials said. Both crew members were rescued by a passing oil tanker, said Spain's Maritime Rescue Service, marking the latest killer whale attack on a boat, which has become a pattern in recent years. Maybe this isn't going to be weird news anymore. Maybe killer whales just had enough. Right? You killed one of our friends. Anyway, the incident happened around 9 a.m. local time in a narrow strait between Spain and Morocco. That has become a notorious site of human interactions with pods of killer whales that, for reasons still not fully understood, ram into boats and at times even sink them. Well, they are called killer whales. They didn't name themselves. In this case, crew members on board of the SV Alboran Cognac, the SV Alboran Cognac yacht put out an emergency call for an evacuation after they encountered orcas, roughly 14 miles off the coast of Cape Spartel. The crew members reported feeling blows to the hull of the vessel and rudder, which was damaged by the whales. The rescue service said the agency's coordination center in Tarifa on the Spanish side of the Strait of Gibraltar helped arrange for the evacuation via the tanker MT Las Croix. The tanker was able to collect the crew members from the sinking yacht within the hour, and they disembarked in Gibraltar before 10:30 a.m. They abandoned the SV Alboran Cognac, which proceeded to completely disappear into the ocean. Anyone sailing through the waters from the Gulf of Cadiz in southern Spain and the Strait of Gibraltar, either in a large motorized vessel or a personal sailing boat, is advised to avoid certain areas that the Maritime Rescue Service marks as potentially dangerous spots for orca interactions. The greatest threats exist between May and August, when officials say the pods of killer whales are most commonly seen in those parts of the Atlantic. But previously recorded incidents just may be present anytime. Last October, a Polish boat touring company reported that a pod of orcas had managed to sink one of its yachts after flying into the steering fin for 45 minutes, causing a leak. Last June, 2 sailing teams competing in international space around the world reported frightening scenarios in which multiple orcas rammed into or pushed up against their boats or as they sailed west of Gibraltar. No one on board any of these vessels was hurt in those encounters, but the documented rise in confrontational behavior has researchers and sailors trying to determine why orcas have attempted to sink or capsize so many boats off the coast of Spain and Portugal. Some sailors have even resorted to blasting thrash metal music in a bid to deter the apex predators. Reports of orcas interacting with humans have more than tripled in the last 2 years or so, according to the group GTOA, which has documented hundreds of incidents in the region since 2020. But some of the latest data points to possible changes in orcas etiquette, which the group reporting only 26 interactions in the Strait of Gibraltar and Bay of Biscay between January and May of this year. That number is 65% lower than the number of interactions recorded in the region over the same months last year, and 40% lower than the average number of interactions recorded in the same months between 21 and 23, according to the GTOA. I don't know what that means, human interactions.
I don't know what that means.
But, we call orcas killer whales. I wonder what orcas call us. Killer land creatures? But that's just whales doing their thing, and probably just like, it's probably their sport. Maybe they started in the league, like the Killer Whale Boat Sinking League. Yeah, right. And they got competitions every week. And Team Sharky is ahead,
Team Sharkies.
Team Sharky. They have colorful animal nicknames, right? Team Sharky and Team Tuna, Team Tuna and Team Sharky, They're competing. See who can sink the most boats in whatever orca year is. An orca year could be 10 years for all you know, right?
Yeah.
They don't work on our system. They don't need our stupid, stinking laws. We don't need your stinking badges. Anyway, killer whales had enough of humans, and they're showing their whatever.
It just took them a while to figure out what the hell was going on before they could finally figure out their strategy to defeat us.
I'm gonna go ahead and say some big boat took out one of their friends, or maybe their leader, right? And they're just getting back. It's revenge time. This time it's personal. Anyway, there's your orca story.
My orca story. Your orca story.
No, it's not yours. It's the world's orca story.
Yeah, I guess China better watch out because the orcas might be coming from.
I mean the general you, not the specific you. The Filipinos are going to
get the orcas on their side, and they're going to start a riot.
Right. And they're gonna be in the Eurovision contest next year.
All right. With something completely not ocean related, we have a teacher who had sex with 2 different students, realizing that she ruined her life and her dream job. This is from the Independent, coming out of Manchester. A teacher. Wait, who wrote the article? It never tells me who writes these articles. Pat Hurst wrote this article. Isn't that a famous person? A teacher told a jury that she had ruined her dream job with stupid mistakes, but denied having sex with 2 teenage pupils. Rebecca Jones, 30, admitted she had broken safeguarding rules as a teacher by being in contact with boys on Snapchat and then having them back at her apartment in Salford Quays. Suspicious, she was already suspended from a high school job and on bail for alleged sexual activity with boy A, 15, when she allegedly took the virginity of the second boy, known as boy B, 16, who she later became pregnant by. Lovely. Neither teenager can be identified. Jones denied any sexual activity took place with boy A, whose semen was recovered from her bed sheets, and said that the relationship with boy B only began after he had left school and she had lost her job as a teacher. So no legal offense was committed as she was no longer in a position of trust. On Tuesday, which was May 14th, the defendant was cross-examined by prosecutor Joe Allman for a second day. Wait, did I say May 15th? May 14th, Tuesday. He said both boys were 15 when she began taking each one into her flat, and both had been communicating with her on Snapchat, where messages are deleted and not recoverable by police. In both cases, the activity was a secret from their parents, and they both flirted with her, boy A calling her sexy, and boy B sending her a message saying, "Get your tits out." "What did you reply?" Mr. Allman asked. "Laughing faces," Jones replied. Mr. Allman said instead of shutting down such behavior, Jones gave ambiguous responses. Can we remind ourselves this is a 15-year-old boy?" Mr. Allman said. "I know, yes," Jones said. Jones denies six counts of engaging in sexual activity with a child. She maintained that sex with boy B only began after he turned 16 and had left school, and she was dismissed from her job. Reminder that 16 is the age of consent. I believe it may even be 15 in the UK. So, whether or not you agree with them having sex, really none of your business, because he's the age of consent, so he's able to give consent if he wants to. I guess you can judge her for,
she's a teacher.
Going after 16-year-old boys, but that's really only the judgment I can give.
Well, the judgment is she's a teacher in a power position. A position of power, so
no, that's what I'm saying.
Dynamic,
you're not
so
listening.
It's wrong.
She wasn't a teacher with the second boy anymore. She had already gone fired for the first thing. So the second boy was.
So we're just all up in her business for no reason. Yeah, I got you. All right.
Yeah. Because how the education system in the UK works is you go to normal school, and then around 16 you can choose to go to college from there. And he didn't do that, I guess, because he wasn't in school either. So he had left school. She was not working at a school anymore, and then that's when they got into a relationship. And that's why I'm saying the only thing you can really judge is a 30-year-old dating a 16-year-old at that point. That's the only thing I can judge. But the legality of it isn't in question. It's what she's arguing. The first one, she won't take the 2 counts. She'll only take the 1 count of no sex because she didn't have sex with a 15-year-old, according to her. Mr. Allman said, "So even though you've been having boy B around your flat since the age of 15, sex only began within 5 days of being dismissed." "Yes," replied Jones. Mr. Allman continued, "You did not find him sexy until the point it became legal." I mean, men do this all the time, you know, those really creepy, waiting for blah 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 famous actress to turn 18 party. It's like, that's really weird. You don't have a chance with her to begin with, even if she wasn't underage. Like, so weird. Boy B has told the jury that while he was still at school, Jones first straddled and kissed him at her flat, and then on a second occasion they had full sex. This was after Jones had been arrested, suspended from her job, and bailed while police investigated allegations of contact with Boy A. Jones said Boy B contacted her to see how she was, and as she was lonely, she liked the attention and a friendship grew. They would go for walks and he would visit her flat, as she preferred staying in her apartment in Salford rather than with her parents on the rear wall. Jones said, "Speaking to my family, I made mistakes. I'd basically ruined my chances with my dream job." Mr. Allman said Jones had a supportive family, a sister and a best friend back home, but instead chose the company of a 15-year-old boy in Salford. "How on earth can the second scenario be a draw for you?" Mr. Allman asked. Jones said, "I was stupid, but I did choose that option. Obviously, I was breaking my bail conditions." The defendant claimed that her relationship with the boy B soured and he became controlling. Imagine being controlled by a 16-year-old boy. That's tragic. I feel really bad for this lady. Mr. Allman said, "Let's look at the reality of the situation. You were 29, living in a flat, had a good income, drove an Audi A1. He was a child, you were an adult. He was a pupil, you were a teacher. He lived with his mom and dad. They were not supposed to know about your liaison with him. Who was controlling who?" Jurors of Manchester Crown Court heard Jones and Boy B rode and had a row and could not decide on whether to keep their baby or have an abortion. Boy B says he tried to end the relationship but did not know how to. He called Jones a pedo and told her to find someone her own age, but claimed that she put emotional pressure on him to keep the relationship going. Especially the getting pregnant part. That's definitely very emotional pressuring for a 16-year-old. Mr. Allman cited a letter she wrote to Boy B saying, "Every inch of you is perfect. You are all I ever dream about." Jones said, "This was a year before he left school. I was in love with him. I was pregnant with his child." Jones denies 6 counts of engaging in sexual activity with a child, including 2 while being a person in position of trust. The child was adjourned until this morning, Wednesday, May 15th. So the reason I cover the story mostly because I just thought it was weird how much of denial this lady is and about how she has done nothing wrong at all, and she's perfectly in her legal rights, I guess. Completely normal, I guess. What a wacky world.
That was extra
we
creepy.
live in.
Extra creepy story.
Yeah.
Well,
that's it.
Now that I've taken a shower, let me take a shower now. I'll wash myself down, hose myself off, and the next story. Weird. From the military. This is from a website called Ars Technica. Well, I can't even read it. Ars Technica. ArsTechnica.com. Robot dogs armed with Robot dogs armed with AI-aimed rifles undergo U.S. Marines Special Ops evaluation. Of course, U.S. Marines are, by definition, special ops. They don't have their own special ops. But yeah, I guess they do. But yeah, let's just say. This is from the United States Marine Corps Special Operations Command, MARSOC. Is currently evaluating a new generation of robotic dogs developed by Ghost Robotics, with the potential to be equipped with gun systems from defense tech company Onyx Industries, reports the War Zone. While MARSOC is testing Ghost Robotics quadrupedal unmanned ground vehicles called QUGVs for short. That's for short. Anyway, for various applications, including reconnaissance surveillance. It's the possible arming of them with weapons for remote engagement that may draw the most attention, but it's not unprecedented. The U.S. Marine Corps has also tested robotic dogs armed with rocket launchers in the past. MARSOC is currently in possession of 2 armed QUGVs, which is really hard to say. I don't know why they're thinking that's easy to say, by the way. QUGVs undergoing testing, as confirmed by Onyx Industries staff, and their gun systems are based on Onyx's Sentry Remote Weapon System, which is the RWS, which features AI-enabled digital imaging systems and can automatically detect and track people, drones, and vehicles, reporting potential target to remote human operator that could be located anywhere in the world. Hey, yeah, Robot Dog says it's a plane blowing out of the sky. Are we sure? Well, Robot Dog's never been wrong before. Okay, and they blow out a civilian airline. I can see it. The system maintains a human-in-the-loop control for fire decisions and cannot decide to fire autonomously. That's fine, but still can get things wrong. On LinkedIn, Onyx Industries shows the system in action. Oh, I gotta watch the video. Maybe we can do that for a mic drop one of these days. In a statement to the war zone, MARSOC states that weaponized paint are just one of many use cases being evaluated. MARSOC also clarifies that comments made by Onyx Industries to the war zone regarding the capabilities and development of these armed robot dogs should not be construed as a capability or a singular interest in any one of many use cases during the evaluation. That's a word salad. Singular interest in many use cases during the evaluation. Wow. The command, they talk a different language in mumbo jumbo world. The command further stresses out that it is aware of and adheres to all of the Department of Defense policies concerning autonomous weapons. The evaluation of armed robotic dogs reflects a growing interest in their small robotic unmanned ground vehicles for military use. While unmanned aerial vehicles have been remotely delivering lethal force under human command for at least 2 decades, the rise of inexpensive robotic quadrupeds, some available for as low as $1,600, has led to a new round of experimentation with strapping weapons to their backs. In July 2022, a video of a rifle bolted to the back of a Unitree RoboDog went viral on social media, eventually leading Boston Robotics and other robot vendors to issue a pledge that October to not... Okay. Another poorly written sentence. In July 2022, a video of the rifle bolted to the back of a Unitree RoboDog went viral on social media, eventually leading Boston and other robotics vendors to issue a pledge that October to not weaponize their robots. Oh, okay. Issue a pledge that October to not weaponize their robots. Okay. That's a sentence. With notable exceptions for military. In April, we covered a Unitree GO2 robot dog, which with a flamethrower strapped to its back on sale to the general public. Really, general public can buy a flamethrower robot dog. Perfect. The prospect of deploying armed robotic dogs, even with human oversight, raises significant questions about the future of warfare and the potential risks and ethical implications of increasingly autonomous weapon systems. There's also potential for backlash of similar remote systems eventually end up used domestically by police. Such a concern would not be unfounded. On November 22, we covered a decision by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors to allow the San Francisco Police Department to use lethal robots against suspects. There's also a concern that the systems will become more autonomous over time. As the war zones, Howard Altman and Oliver Parkin describe in their article, while further details on MARSOC's use of the gun-armed robot dogs remain limited, the fielding of this type of capability is likely inevitable at this point. As AI-enabled drone autonomy becomes increasingly weaponized, just allowing humans will stay in a loop, even for kinetic acts, is increasingly debatable, regardless of assurances from some in the military and industry. While the technology is still in its early stages of testing and evaluation, the QUGVs do not have the potential to provide reconnaissance and security capabilities. They do have the potential to provide reconnaissance and security capabilities that reduce risks to human personnel in hazardous environments. But as armed robotic systems continue to evolve, it will be crucial to address ethical concerns and ensure their use aligns with established policies and international law. Of course, the international law on robot dogs, we don't know if we have that yet, but they're not cute and cuddly, and some of them have flamethrowers. So there's your story about the Marine Corps testing the robot dogs and their applications in military.
I remember when they were like, oh no, the dogs are just going to be delivery dogs. Yeah, we're not going to use them for military. Nope, they're totally not going to be shooting us down the street in 10 years.
Yeah, how why are they dogs and not some other animal with 4 legs? Why aren't they foxes? Why aren't they warthogs? I don't know. Yeah. Why are they calling them dogs? They don't look anything like dogs, if you ask me.
They're all
call them whatever you want.
So,
they got 4 legs. I guess everything with 4 legs is a dog now. Yeah, it can be a bear.
A small pony. I don't know.
It can't be a pig. It can't be a hyena. It can't be a gazelle. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Anatomy aside, it has no characteristics of any animal. But anyway.
You have to put a dog head on it.
You don't have to feed it. Or take it for a walk.
You do have to feed them electricity. Oh shit, I forgot to charge my military assault dog. Oh man.
Oh shit. Oh man, my flamethrower's out of flame.
Flamethrower. Okay. You don't have to put a flamethrower on them. That's
completely ran out of flame last night. Anybody got another flame cartridge?
I'm going to be really worried if they put a flamethrower on one of those. I'm like, why would you need a flamethrower? Oh, for weed control. Okay.
They already have put a flamethrower on it. So too late.
All right.
You don't have to worry about it.
It's time to restart. Human civilization. Let's do a redo here. This is exactly how we died.
It's for military application.
In about 50 years.
Or some
version of it. I'm going to be an old, decrepit woman going, I told you guys when they put the flamethrowers on the dogs, it was the end for us. That's what I'm going to sound like.
That's right. Yep, exactly. When I was a young child, they started putting them flamethrowers on dogs, and that was it. It was Katie bar the door after that. Anyway.
All right.
Pepperidge Farm.
I guess now it's time for my culture segment, which is actually shorter than my previous news stories because we're just updating on the Eurovision drama. Now, there's been a lot of Eurovision drama over the past few months, of course, because they're including Israel in the competition, even though they're in the middle of a genocide. Whereas they kicked out Russia for starting a war with Ukraine. So where's the equality there? It's not like Palestine was ever invited to Eurovision. So, because, they're not European. Israel, European. Palestine, not European. Same land mass. Totally different people. Anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Netherlands, actually, because Joost Klein, the Dutch artist competing in the Eurovision, has been disqualified and kicked out of the competition. This is coming out of Euronews by Euronews. Euronews has just covered the whole thing. The organizer said the Swedish police are investigating after a complaint was made about Klein by a female member of the production crew. The European Broadcast Union put out a statement around midday on Saturday, which was May 11th, saying that the complaint was made after an incident following Klein's performance in Thursday night's semi-final. So, May 9th, after a semi-final show, he got into an altercation with somebody from the production crew. He had failed to attend 2 dress rehearsals in Malmo on Friday, prompting an investigation into the incident by the EBU, the organizer of the contest. It added that while the legal process takes its course, it would not be appropriate for him to continue in contest. What about Israel's legal processes? They're currently being on trial in The Hague right now. But no points will be awarded to the Netherlands from the viewing public, the EBU said. Dutch viewers are still allowed to vote in the grand final, and the Dutch jury results is still valid. The EBU will inform all telecommunication partners that the Netherlands is no longer participating, and we will endeavor to block the lines for Song 5. Though rumors had been flying the incident was connected to Israel's delegation, organizers said the incident did not involve any other performer or delegation member. It was unclear whether Klein was still in Malmo on Saturday, the 11th of May. Such last-minute disqualification is unprecedented in the 68-year history of Eurovision, although countries have boycotted the event, in some cases been expelled, including Russia, who was kicked out after its 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Dutch broadcaster Avrotos, one of dozens of public broadcasters that collectively fund and broadcast the contest, said it finds the disqualification disproportionate and is shocked by the decision. So, there's your quick news. The EBU said we will maintain a zero-tolerance policy towards inappropriate behavior at our event and are committed to providing safe and secure working environment for all staff of the contest. In light of this, Joost Klein's behavior toward a team member is deemed a breach of contest rules. The 26-year-old Dutch singer and rapper had been bookies' favorite as well as a fan favorite. Oh, a lot of people lost their bets, huh? Disqualification, a lot of angry bookies. With his song Europapa, an upbeat Euro-techno ode to the continent that is also a tribute to Klein's parents who died when he was a child. The competition was already proving decisive over the inclusion of Israel. It has attracted large protests from Palestinians and their supporters who say Israel should be excluded after killing thousands of Palestinian civilians in Gaza. I agree. Also, I want to add that supposedly, this is what the rumor, so take this with a grain of salt, is after his stage show, which is about his dead parents, right, in part, he was very emotionally, because he was happy to be there on the stage, and like, this is for you, my parents, I made it to Eurovision, or something, some sort of celebratory song, and he was supposedly very emotionally distressed, wanted to be alone with himself, and this production member kept on bothering him, and she, yelled wolf, I guess. There's a wolf in the woods, watch out! Like, why don't people just, if somebody says leave me alone, But I guess she didn't get the message. Sensitive. She didn't maybe he was saying it in Dutch and she just didn't understand. But there was a communication error there, and for that communication error, he's been disqualified. So, there are some...
Sounds like bullshit to me.
Oh, I know, 100%. 100%. I agree with everyone who says
like, oh boy, I can accuse somebody of anything and get them... Yeah. I can accuse anybody of anything and get them disqualified now. Seriously, that's it. That's your contest is now turned into a shit show.
Well, to be honest, the contest has been a shit show, for my opinion, for a very long time.
I'm saying it started out as a shit show. Yeah, it's been a shit show from the start intentionally, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Let's take all the fun out of it.
Yeah, the problem now with Eurovision is acting like it's American Idol or
politics.
Any of those other shows where you actually make a career out of it. Originally, the whole point of Eurovision was to not win. That's why the show was a shit show, because people didn't want to win the competition.
It's sarcastic. It's like the Gong Show. It's the Gong Show if you never watched it, but it's the Gong Show, right?
Cash out their money to put the show on. They're like, I don't want to have the show. We don't want to put the show on. So they tried to lose, and now everyone's making it
now we're going to let anybody... If I want those guys to lose, all I got to do is plant somebody to say they got offended by them, and they don't have no evidence. Just, this guy saw it and that guy saw it. That's all we need. Eyewitnesses. And as we know, eyewitnesses are the worst evidence in trial, because their stories will change. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson gave a great example of that. He was on a jury. He was in a jury pool, and the judge asked him a question. He says, could you convict somebody if there was just one eyewitness? And Neil deGrasse Tyson said, if that's the only evidence?
Yeah.
And I don't think I can convict them, because humans get things wrong, even if they witness them all the time. And the judge said something that totally misconstrued his answer, and someone else in the jury pool says, well, there's an example right there. He just answered your question and you didn't listen for the answer, and you just told him a different answer than he just gave. That just shows you right there that eyewitness testimony isn't always reliable.
Yeah.
And people lie. So there you go. All right, this day in history on the on 495 BC on May 15th.
Oh,
on the Aventine Hill in Rome.
Do you have a mic drop for me?
Yeah, we talked about it. It's from Bill Burr.
It is the thing you sent me. That's what I was asking. Did you
want me to mic told you. I swear. You asked me about that, and I said, yeah, clip it at like about 4 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know why there was any confusion.
It's fine. I'm just asking.
The Aventine Hill in Rome was dedicated on this day in 495 BC. On the Aventine Hill in Rome, the temple of the Roman god Mercury was dedicated. So there you go. I'm crazy about a Mercury. Cruised up and down this road. That's an old 50s song by 60s song, Sam Cooke song. Was I'm crazy about a Mercury. Steve Miller Band remade it. Cruise up and down this road. I'm giving you. I'm milking the time now because 1859. Physical chemist Pierre Curie, co-winner of the Nobel Prize for Physics, was born in Paris, the husband of Marie Curie. 1885, Louis Riel surrendered after leading 2 rebellions against the Canadian government in response to his efforts to assume the territorial rights of the Hudson Bay Company in northwestern Canada. Good luck with that, dude. You were never going to win that. I'm going to hold up with my gun. I'll win this. Yeah. No, you won't. You're just going to shoot you to death. You don't surrender. 1886, American poet Emily Dickinson, who commanded a singular brilliance of style and integrity of vision, died in Amherst, Massachusetts. American poet Emily Dickinson died on this day in 1886. In 1914, mountaineering Tenzing Norgay, who, with Sir Edmund Hillary, was the first person to stand atop the summit of Mount Everest, was born in Sheshu, Tibet. All right. We're giving the Sherpas credit. That's what they need to do. The first person to scale Mount Everest was a Sherpa named Tenzing Norgay, not Sir Edmund Hillary. There you go. Sir Edmund Hillary just paid for the shit, right? He went there. He was with them. They were together, but you never hear the Sherpa's name. But we're covering that. Anyway, it's his birthday today in 1914. Happy birthday, Tenzing. 1918, the first regular airmail route in the United States opened between New York City and Washington, D.C. In 1928, the Washington, D.C. Mickey Mouse, Washington, D.C. Man, let me start over. Whoa, Disney's Mickey Mouse. Wow. 1928, Walt Disney Mickey Mouse made his debut with the premiere of the cartoon Plane Crazy. He gets some reading glasses. 1940, nylon stockings first went on sale to the general public, and American stores sold out in days. In 1940, also on this day, in San Bernardino, California, brothers Maurice Mack and Richard McDonald opened a drive-in restaurant that gave rise to the fast food chain McDonald's. I should have let you guess. In 1969, American lawyer and Judge Abe Fortas became the first U.S. Supreme Court justice to resign under threat of impeachment. Boy, back when the Supreme Court had integrity. People resigned when there was conflicts. People resigned when they questioned their ethics. Wow. Boy, that was only 55 short years ago. What has happened to our country? 1972, on this day, George Wallace was shot. Scumbag segregationist Alabama Governor George Wallace was wounded and left permanently paralyzed below the waist in an assassination attempt. 2003, American singer and songwriter June Carter Cash, a leading figure in country music, especially noted for her work with the Carter family and wife of Johnny Cash, died in Nashville. This day in 2003. Johnny wasn't around much longer either. He died later that year.
Wow.
Also, on our featured event on this day, Edith Cresson, appointed French premier on this day in 1991. Edith Cresson of the Socialist Party, the first female premier of France, but she lost the office less than a year later because of rising unemployment and declining support from their party. She lost the office. Hey, has anybody seen my office?
I lost my... Where'd it go?
I lost... Good. And a decks and some lamps. Can't find my office. Anyway. Thank you. That was my little acting for today. Feature biography, Madeleine Albright, United States Secretary of State, the first woman Secretary of State of the United States, died on March 22nd, 2022 in Washington, D.C., but she was born May 15th, 1937 in Prague, Czechoslovakia, which is now just Prague. What country is Prague in? Is it in the Czech Republic? Chechnya? Where is it now? Slovakia? Where is it? Do you know? Where's Prague? Because Czechoslovakia isn't a thing. Okay, I guess I gotta look it up then. Other birthdays today: Brian Eno, British musician and producer, born in 1948. Emmett Smith, American football player, born in 1969. Oof. Born on the same day that Abe Fortas resigned. How about that, Emmett Smith? Okay. Ray Lewis, American football player, was born in 1975, and Andy Murray, Scottish tennis player, born in 1987. And it is National, what is it today? National Nylon Stocking Day for obvious reasons we just heard. They were first released into market on this day and immediately sold out, almost immediately, because people love them nylons. Peace Officer Memorial Day. Anybody, police or anybody in the community died in the line of duty. It's their Memorial Day. Remember them. They didn't have to die. National Chocolate Chip Day is today. Oh, chocolate chips are great. Chocolate chip cookies. Just eat 40 pounds of them. Celebrate. Great day to celebrate. It's National Juice Slush Day. I guess they're called slushies or slurpees or whatever. Or snow cones. It's National Juice Slush Day. Bring flowers to someone day, which we covered. You always should bring flowers to somebody, especially if they were a peace officer killed in a line of work. Bring them flowers. And those are your days for today. May 15th, 2024, on Before Chocolate Chips.
I can't wait to eat all that and more today.
National Juice Slush.
Juice Slush. Yeah, juice Slush sounds really great for the hot weather, huh?
Juice Slush. It's hard to say. If you're Sean Connery saying Juice Slush.
Juice Slush.
Or Sean Connery, Juice Slush. I would like a Juice Slush, please.
All right.
I want seven Juice Slushes.
I will not be voting in Eurovision because I've never have and I never cared about it. But, I gotta cover the stuff that is going on, even if I never really cared about it.
We care. We care intently.
We will see you tomorrow for our Thursday 13, which is going to be a surprise as always of what 13 we're talking about on Thursday.
I don't even know what it is.
I hope you have a good and safe Wednesday. We're almost there to the end of the week. Stay safe out there.
Wednesday,
don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you can see when we go live.
Subscribe.
And
don't
like
be
the video.
freeloading.
Comment down below how angry you are about disqualifications for Eurovision, I guess. And here's your mic drop moment.
You not having a good time in Boston. I could see them going.
That was a long time ago.
Dude, you have, this is a hacky reference, but you totally have the energy of, you forgot to give out the homework assignment, Mrs. So-and-so.
Boston, you may have heard, is a college town. There's quite a few intellectuals there. The audience that's very sophisticated, they like my show. Okay, we all have our niche.
Oh, God, you're so fucking highbrow.
Well, it's true.
Does your shit jokes float above ours?
A little bit.
Why, because you say Setmet tank or something? something about shit?
Wait, what was I just going to tell you? God damn it.
Nothing interesting.
No, it was. What were we talking about? Something.
No, we were talking about going to Boston.
Boston! Thank you, yes. I love Boston. It loves me. That's been going. I did a special
Regis on me.
Special there
Boston.
in 2007. I have a love affair with the Boston audience. We are like this because they're just very smart. What can I tell you? I know you hate to hear that. But
no, it just sounds like
this was like
it sounds like you have a gig coming up in Boston and the tickets are a little slow.
No, they're never slow in Boston. Never slow in Boston. But
do you perform in Cambridge?
Cambridge.
That's where Harvard is. For a guy like you,
I know that.
That's got to be the Taj Mahal. I love that
I
bugged
hate
you.
Harvard. Are you kidding? Have you heard what's going on college campuses these days?
I don't watch the news.
You don't realize that college campuses erupted with the kids demonstrating for Hamas? They are in with the terrorists.
They were for the Palestinians.
Well, it's sort of the same cause. Why, are you?
I'm on the side of the kids.
Yeah, that's easy to say. You know, no one wants to see kids dead. This is a war.
That was very brave of you to say that.
This is a war. No, I'm the one who's actually brave on this.
Pat yourself on the back.
It's easy to say I'm for the kids. Who's not for the kids?
Well,
it comes down to real hard-nosed decisions. Like a country.
Stop talking like you're a general.
A country got attacked. Israel got attacked.
I'm not saying that they didn't have a right to go back. I'm just sitting there going like, how do I look at
We're the only country in the world that they get attacked, and then as soon as they counterattack, it's like, well, we got to stop this shit now. Don't attack them. There's a very simple solution to all this problem in the Middle East. Stop attacking Israel.
Hey, you
Stop
just solved
attacking
it.
Israel.
You just solved it.
I actually did.
There you go. That's fantastic.
Anyway.
All right.
We don't need to get onto that.
Let's go to Russia and the Ukraine. How do you solve that one, Bill? Let me hear your hard-nosed decision about that. Well, let me ask you a question. How is war still legal? With all this shit that's been canceled.
Legal.
Why is that still fucking legal?
Would you like a real answer to that? Because for something to be illegal, you have to have the capacity to enforce it. And you can't enforce against war, or else you have to go to war with the country that's going to war. And we don't want to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. What would be the sense of making it illegal? Oh, that's really going to stop Putin. No. To stop people from going to war, you have to also put boots.
You can't sit down and talk it out. Why can't Putin do a podcast with the head guy? Like, you just solved the Middle East on a podcast. Why can't they solve what they're doing on a podcast?
This is why this is not your thing.
Make some hard-nosed decisions.
It's
not your thing. It's what you...
It is my thing.
It isn't your thing.
This is not your thing.
You're like that guy that has a fantasy football team and thinks he's a fucking GM.
No.
That's exactly what it is. Like, why am I fucking listening to you like you've done something? What have you done in Washington? Nothing.
No, I would never go to Washington.
It's beneath you.
Look.
You would be the coolest fucking guy in Washington. You showed up with those boots
it would be so
and
easy.
no tie. They'd be like, oh my God.
It'd be so easy to be.
Did Kevin Bacon just come back to that Footloose town?
Kevin Bacon.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.